The first week of the Atlantic hurricane season, it is underway, and there are no immediate signs of areas to watch or tropical threats expected, especially over the next 7 days. Why? Hostile winds and an abundance of Saharan dust is keeping the basin quiet. A dense Saharan plume has taken effect across parts of the southeast, and that includes here in parts of southeast Florida. As you're looking at some old images from Miami, this has happened time in and time out. So we do want to go to Fox Weather's Brandy Campbell, who is in Miami, with a look at this year's muted sky. Brandy, this is something that I think either you love or you hate. It depends on how the weather conditions are happening.
Yeah, that's right, Kiana. So I'm here in Miami. I saw it over the past couple of years. You guys have been using some of that old footage of what I'm going to call the dustiest time of the year. If you're here, of course, in the state of Florida, just along the Gulf Coast or Atlantic states where you might see the plume just really take over the atmosphere in your city. Here you can see Miami. I'm going to step out of the way so you can see downtown. It's a little bit hazy right now, and I noticed this for the first time yesterday, and this may remain the case throughout the weekend. But right now, it's during the daytime where it kind of creates a facade that it might just be raining off in the distance, or that maybe there was just a fireworks show. It's just hazy, when you look far off into the distance. I did recently speak with Jason Dunyan. He is a University of Miami meteorologist, but he also works with NOAA's Atlantic Lab studying the Saharan dust. He said these plumes, they really start to kick into gear mid-June through the end of July. And sometimes these plumes, they are as large as the lower 48 states and can travel between 4,000 to 5,000 miles to get here to the United States. And while this dust is interesting to see, I know it captivates us every time that it makes it to the United States. Jason and his team, they are studying it to see how it does interact with hurricanes and how strong that they can grow. So they start studying them as they interact with seedlings. So basically it's storms that are forming off the coast of Africa, stating that the Saharan air layer has unique properties of warmth, dry air, and strong winds that can act to suppress hurricane formation and intensification. I started speaking with him just to basically learn, how does this dust even make its way from Africa to the U.S.? He said it starts with tropical waves coming off the coast of Africa.
Those actually can help lift up the dust off the desert floor. And there are certain places like in Chad over Africa, Lake Chad is a huge dried up lake bed. So there's a lot of silt and sand, and the hot desert helps to lift it up to about 20,000 feet. So you have this huge dust layer over Africa that eventually gets whisked out into the Atlantic and becomes these Saharan dust outbreaks.
And if you take a look at this video, you can see just how hazy the Saharan dust makes the Miami skyline. This taken back in 2022 during the sunrise. The dust, it is known to create conditions for beautiful sunrises and sunsets. Dunyan told me it's the particles, which can be very odd shapes. He says it scatters the sunlight. Now, if you're also wondering if there's any risk to those of us in these cities seeing the Saharan dust, right now, according to airnow.gov, the air quality index for Miami is at 65, but that's out of 500. So right now we're seeing a moderate level for our AQI, which is acceptable, but the EPA did note for those with unusually sensitive, or those for individuals, that have unusually sensitive or if they are unusually sensitive to these kind of conditions, then you might see some impacts. But it could be worse. We have some cities like Chicago that has the highest AQI in the country at 163. It might look similar along the Chicago skyline as it does to Miami, but their impact is actually from smoke from Canadian wildfires. So if you're wondering how long this is going to last, obviously we're going to get plumes of this coming from Africa throughout the summer, but this specific plume will eventually start to die out over the weekend. Back to you, Kiana.
All right, that's Fox Weather Correspondent Brandy Campbell. Thanks again for that report.